What up, Facebook? Welcome to Mike, your mentor. That's me. And this is Monday, so it's My Life Monday, where I share a little bit about my life and what's been happening, what's been going on. If you're new to this page, basically it's about mentorship, right? If you watch any of the past content, you'll learn that I had a pretty dysfunctional and crazy life. And I find myself asking this question now that I'm older. Why was someone who was born into a situation like me and been through so many things able to come out on the other side and make something of my life, right? Have a good job, be the first person in my family to graduate from college, have a family of my own. And I recognize two things. One, the grace of God. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. And two, I had mentors in my life, whether those are mentors through the books I was reading and hearing the stories about how people would go through stuff and make the choice to improve their life or do something about it, not let those things hold them back, which was very inspirational to me at a young age. The second thing is I had mentors in my own life who helped me out and who refused to let me fall by the wayside and held me to a higher standard. And so now I want to take those seeds that were planted in my life and give those back to other people. So I thought we'd do something a little different today for My Life Monday. We're going to have a special guest. She's a little fussy today, but sharing my life with you guys. This is the special guest, and that's Belle, our little pug. Say hi, Belle, right there. And now, Belle's very special to us. She's probably more special to my wife because this is her little baby. Belle came into my wife's life at a time that was very difficult for us. We were having a lot of marriage problems, and I was a big jerk, admittedly so. And my wife needed something that would help her get through that, and it's something we'll talk about later on in on this page, not at this time. But my wife was working as a vet tech, and when we lived in Chicago, and she's been obsessed with pugs since she was a little girl. And someone brought Belle in, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Belle has no eyes. So when she was brought in, she actually already had one eye sewed shut, and she had one eye was hanging out. They're not sure what happened, but our theory on what happened is, and we learned this by exposing Belle to other dogs. We used to take her to the dog park. Is she's a would the word alpha female be right? She's a dominator. She just would go after these other dogs. She would smell them, and obviously she couldn't see them, but she would try to dominate them, and she would be all over them and bully them. So my guess is that she was out on the street wandering around and ran into a dog that she couldn't bully, and they sent her a little message, and unfortunately she lost her other eye. So they had surgery on Belle, and Belle didn't have anywhere to go. Luckily, so my wife called me at work and gave me the sob story about Belle and not having a place, and I agreed to let Belle come home, and we've had Belle for, I want to say, 7 years now. My wife knows this better than me. Belle's 13, and Belle's pretty famous. If you're on Instagram, you can follow Belle along with her 7,000 followers. I think her tag or her moniker or whatever you use on Instagram is Belle the Blind Pug. But my wife's always posting cute little pictures and videos on there. So part of the reason why I wanted you to introduce you to Belle tonight is because, Belle's actually pretty cool. It's fascinating how she doesn't have any eyes, and the house that we're in now is the third place that we've lived with her. And it's interesting, right? Because whenever we go to a new place and she has to learn, where the furniture is, where everything is. And it's actually cool because she's kind of like a bat. and that when we set her down, she'll continue to bark, and she kind of uses the echo to learn where things are, and she'll. All right, Belle, you get out then, and she'll probably hear a bark, and she'll use her voice to determine where things are, and then she'll kind of navigate her way through the house until she learns where the furniture is. It's not good when we move stuff around. Belle will bump into things, but it probably takes her about a good day or two, maybe 3, to get acclimated to a new place, and then she's perfectly fine. She moves around everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. She gets through the living room, up on the couch, around the tables. She climbs the stairs. Not so much as now that she's older. We carry her up the stairs because her hips are kind of bad. But before that, she'd just climb up the stairs like she could see, frisky little thing, and take her for walks. And she's pretty much a normal dog, the only fact is that she can't see, but her other senses are heightened. Her hearing and her sense of smell. That girl can smell a pepperoni or a sausage a mile away. I'll literally be down here cooking dinner and she'll be upstairs, and that scent makes its way upstairs, and I can hear Belle coming down the hallway and then down the stairs, and then sure enough into the kitchen. And then it's funny because she comes and she like kind of like butts me right with like her head to like get my attention, and then if I ignore her, then she has to go into the dominator mode, right? And the dominator mode is she drops her butt down on top of my foot and sits there and looks up at me and pants, right? Waiting for her to get a special little treat. And if she sits there too long and I don't give her a treat, then she's going to start letting me know who's the boss by barking at me, right? And making some noise. I'm surprised she's actually being pretty quiet right now. When she was just barking before this. But yeah, so that's Belle. She's cool. She's a part of our family. I think I shared with you guys Barry the Bunny in the past. So there's Belle. And then maybe one of these times I'll share Chino, our cat, with you guys. And then my son had what are those things from Madagascar? Oh my goodness. With all the spikes on the back. A hedgehog, that's it. My son had a hedgehog. But unfortunately, Jay-Z the hedgehog went to heaven to be with his savior. So he's no longer with us. But yeah, it's the King family farm over here, and that's okay because our animals bring us a lot of joy and a lot of smiles. So one of the reasons that I also wanted to bring Belle up, right, is because I think it's important. It's a very important lesson in life. Is we're all gonna face obstacles. We're all gonna face situations that happen to us that we have no idea are coming. I'm pretty sure Belle didn't know that she was gonna be, in the street, maybe wandering around and get into a fight with another dog, and then end up being rescued, right, and taken care of. I joke with my wife, and I love you, honey, if you're watching this, that if there's a fire in the house, who's my wife gonna save, me or Belle? But it's all good. I know where her heart's at. She says she'll save Belle because Belle can't see, and she knows I'll be fine. So that's all right. But anyways, back to Belle. Yeah. So right. We never know what life holds for us in the future. One moment we could be going through crazy stuff and not knowing how we're even going to function the very next day. And just like that, our lives can change. And just like Belle and her life changed, she got into a new home and a better environment where she's loved and taken care of. So I just think, her story's kind of inspirational and reflective of what we deal with, on a daily, weekly basis in our own lives, and learning how to survive, and it just reminds me, right? Like if God is good enough to make sure that Belle is taken care of, He's good enough to make sure that we're taken care of. And that's not always easy to remember. I mean, sometimes I know I don't show it because I'm pretty robotic on my emotions at times. But I'll be dealing with something, man, and I'll just be freaking out inside. I shared with my wife last week that, something happened with one of my clients for my business, and I was a little worried about what they might think, and my mind just started racing, right? Like, oh, they're going to be upset with me. Well, if you want to see the dog, Jody, then you should rewind the message, or you watch the replay. If you missed it, that's not my fault. Um, so, yeah. So where was I? I was sharing with my wife, how I was thinking in my head all these bad things, and that I was going to be in trouble, and I wanted to make this client happy, and do the best that I could for them, and it really was all in my head. I saw the client and I talked to him, and he laughed about it, right? What I thought was a super big deal, he laughed, and he wasn't even worried about it at all. And I was just, man, it was tearing me up inside. And I hadn't felt anxious like that in a long, long time. And it's kind of weird because I don't know where that came from, or why that was such a big deal to me, this little thing, but for whatever reason it got in my mind and I couldn't get it out, and it just started eating me apart. So my wife, she prayed for me, and we kind of talked that through, and it ended up being nothing at all. Right? So kind of cool there. uh, Mondays are tough. My life Monday, talking about myself and what I got going on. But basically, that's all I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Just introduce you to Belle, tell you a little bit about her story, what we got going on here in the King household. Belle's 13. We hope she's with us for a long. How do I say this, honey? A lot of more years. But it'll definitely be a sad day in the King household when it's time for Belle to go to heaven. Don't think about that, honey. But we're going to enjoy her every minute that we can while she's still here. So I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Short and sweet. We'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday Thoughts. If anybody needs anything, if you need to talk to somebody, get something off your chest, off your back, and you're worried about maybe how you'll be perceived, how you'll be judged, I'm here for you. I don't care what it is. I'd like to say I've seen it all and heard it all from guys. But whatever it is, it doesn't surprise me. We're crazy people. We do crazy stuff as humans. We've been through tragic and crazy stuff. The cool thing about it, right, is when you have somebody that you can trust and somebody you can speak to, you can get that off, that anxiety out. You can get that shame off your back, that monkey off your back, that 500-pound weight, however you want to view it. And then you can move on into your life and experience more joy, more happiness, more fulfillment, not just only in your life for yourself, but in all areas of your life, whether that's your work, in your relationship with your wife, and your relationship with your kids, because those things hold us back, whether we want to admit it or not. So if you need me, I'm just a DM away. Otherwise, you guys have a good night. Love you, and we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.